So, hello everyone. My name is Nikat Naz Ansari, and I'm taking Python course. And here I'm sharing the Python content. So, the topics which I have covered till now is the introduction to Python, all the topics, and from basics of Python, I have covered identifiers, keywords, and the introduction of the fundamental data types. So, today I will be telling you why the data types are important and what is this typecasting. And if time permits, then I'm planning to take up the next topic, input and output functions in Python. That input function, how to give your user input, and print function we have already discussed. So I'll be giving a quick overview on the print function, which is to display output on the console, on the screen. So fundamental data types, typecasting, input function, and print function. These 4 topics I'm planning to take up today. Is the agenda clear to everyone? So let us start today's session. So this is the overview. This is the information of the batch. If you want to register, then you can use this QR code on the left-hand side. And if you want to download the course content, which I have shown you, it is available. You can scan the QR code on the right-hand side for this course content. For any information, you can connect to you can connect to support@logiclabstech.com. And if you want to talk to these people, if you want to talk to our team, then you can talk to the team using any of the number. So this is the information, 5 weeks course, time duration, every day 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Then for general query, you can connect to support team of Logic Lab team. And here, the 5 session will be free. So this is the third demo session, and the 6th session will be only for the registered participants. And you will be able to view the recordings, and you can download the notes, the PPTs, which I will be providing through the LMS, through the portal of Logic Labs team. So this is the general information. So this is the quick recap of identifiers, then naming rules of identifiers, keywords. Now let us come to fundamental data types. And yesterday I told you what are the data types. Data types are simply the labels. So which labels? So let me use my whiteboard. So I will be talking about data types. In Python. So yesterday I have given you a simple example that we have, suppose, knife, fork, spoons, plates. So I can categorize these into a group which is known as cutlery. So I am providing a label to all the things here that it belongs to a group which is known as cutlery. Similarly, in Python, when I talk about a group of the numbers like this, 10, 20, 100, 80. So these are the integers. So these all are belonging to a same group, same class, which is known as integer. If I talk about hello, hi, welcome. So I know that all these values are the text values. So these values belong to a common group or to a class which is known as a string. So what are these labels? These labels are known as data types. And data types are important because with the help of data types, you can identify, you can tell that what kind of operations you can perform on these values. So what kind of operations you can perform on these values. So it is determined by data types. And one more important use of these data types, why these data types are important. Let me just take a very simple example. I want to store one in computer memory. So how this one will be stored in which form? Yes, please let me know. How this value is stored in the computer memory. In which form? In binary. So one will be stored in binary. So I'm showing 8-bit representation. And one is stored in computer memory like this. So I told you computer memory, we are working on hardware and it is closer to machine. So everything which is closer to machine, it is storing everything in form of so everything that is stored here, it is stored in the form of binary. Similarly, we have a Boolean literal, which is known as true. If I want to store this true into the computer memory, so we know that in Boolean algebra, we represent true as 1 and false as 0. So when I have to store true value, so what I'll be doing, I'll be storing it as 1, the binary representation of 1. So 1. So 1 in binary is stored like this. So when I want to read these values, so when I want to read this value and I want to read this value, both are having same binary representation, but both values are different values. So the first one is 1 and the second one is true. So when I want to read this value, I have two options, whether I have to read 1 or I have to read true. I don't know. Whether I have to read 1 or I have to read true. So I don't have clarity on this, that which value I should read in which case. So there is a confusion. So to remove this confusion, what I'll be doing, I will be just adding up that label, that this value which is stored in this binary format, it is having the label int. So it is an integer value. So when I will be having two options, so second option will be discarded because true is not the integer value, true is not of the data type int. So I will be taking up this one. So I will be reading this binary representation as 1. And for second value, what I'll be doing, I will be giving this value a label known as bool, the data type. So when I want to read the value, so I have two options, 1 and true. So 1 I will be discarding because it is belonging to integer class, not to bool class. And I will be taking up this value to read. So the confusion, the ambiguity which I have for the similar representation in this computer memory, I can resolve that problem with the help of these labels, with the help of these data types. Is this example clear to everyone? Let me take another example. If I want to store value 65, it will be stored like this. And if I need to store capital A, so I know that when I need to store capital A, I will be converting it to ASCII code. So our characters are converted to ASCII code, then these code are stored in the computer memory. So capital A is having ASCII code as 65. So when I want to store this capital A, so it has a binary representation of 65. So when I want to read the value, so I have two options, whether to read 65 or whether to read A. Again, whether to read 65 or whether to read capital A. So how to resolve this problem? I will be giving the label, the data type, that if the data type is int, read 65, discard A. If the data type is a string, read A and discard 65. So that is why these labels are really important. And which function in Python is used to determine the data type of a particular value? How to find the data type of 1 or true? What function we are using for this? I have discussed that function yesterday. So what is the name of the function which I can use to determine the type, the data type of my values? Yes, Mudassir, it is type function. So whatever values you are using, if you want to determine the data type, give the value as the argument to the function type, and you will be getting output as the data type, that this one belongs to which class? It belongs to class integer. So you are getting this type of output, that it belongs to class integer. So data types are removing this ambiguity. You have similar representation of two or more values in the computer memory. Then I want to read the values, then read which value. This confusion is removed by data type. Plus, what operation we need to perform on these values, it is also determined by data types. So let me just show you the practical implementation of this, what I'm saying. So data types are used to determine the operations performed on these values. For example, I have the value 10 and I have another value 20, and these 10 and 20 are stored in variable with the name A and B respectively. So you can give the value, you can initialize the variables like this, or you can initialize in the same single line, in the same statement. So two variables or three variables, or how many number of variables you want, you can initialize, you can pass the value, you can assign the value in the same line. So you can do like this. On the left hand side, all the variables separated by comma, then assignment operator, then the values in that order only. So 10 will be assigned to A and 20 will be assigned to B. So the value that you are passing on the right hand side, it should be in the order of the variable. So this is how you can assign the values in a single statement to multiple variables. Now, if I need to print the sum of A and B, so I am expecting 30 value. So let me check whether 30 is, I am getting 30 or not. Yes, I am getting 30. But let me pass these values A and B, so you can say I am getting 30. Now, let me pass the value in A and B. So A is now 10 within double quotes and B is now 20 within double quotes. And when I want to take the sum of A and B, now I will not be getting 30. I will be getting the concatenation of these two numbers. So I will be getting 10 and followed by 20. So I will be getting this output. So when I execute it, so you can see I'm getting the output which I have shown you here. So in the previous example, I was getting 30 as the answer, means addition operation. But here I'm getting the concatenation operation. So this is concatenation. That two values are joined together. So this is concatenation operation. So plus operator in this case is doing which operation? Concatenation operation. But when I'm taking the values 10 and 20 without quotes, so it is giving me 30. So when it is giving me 30, means it is performing addition. So same operator is performing addition with some values and it is performing concatenation with some other values. So when I am passing A and B, the value of A and B in double quotes, so I am getting this one. So same operator performing different operations with different values. It is depending on data type. So it is depending on data type. So why? Because here when you see when I'm passing the values without double quotes, now you can see the color of 10 and 20, it is blue. So now these 10 and 20 are integer. These are numeric value. And on numeric value, plus operator performs addition. And when I am passing the values within double quotes, so now these values are the string values, are the text values. And the plus operator is performing concatenation on the string value. So which operation plus operator has to perform? It is depending upon data type. It is depending upon data type. If you are passing int, float or any numeric value, then it is performing addition. And with the string, it is performing concatenation. And this is known as operator overloading. One operator performing two different operations or performing multiple operations. This is known as operator overloading. Any problem to anyone? Did you get the clarity that when you change the data type with the same operator, you are getting different result? You are getting different output. Thank you, Subhash, for your response, Amrita. So this is what do you call it as? This phenomenon is known as operator overloading. One operator doing different operations with different data types, with different values. So that is why data types are really important, because data types define what kind of operation we can perform on these values. So you can check these two codes and you will be getting different output because of the different data type. Next, I want to take up the concept of static typing and dynamic typing. So we have two different languages. One is the statically typed language. Another one is dynamically typed language. So when we are assigning a value in Python, so I am simply writing a is equal to 10. So what is the logic behind this statement that I have a memory cell, a container, or a variable, and I'm assigning 10 value to this container, and it is stored in binary, and I have a pointer to this memory cell, which is A. So what we are doing here, we are first assigning the value. So 10 is assigned to this memory cell. So first assignment is done. And on the basis of the value which is stored in the container, Python interpreter defines it belongs to which category. It determines the data type after the assignment. So Python interpreter checks that the value is 10 means it is an integer value. So data type is determined after you assign the value. So if you are writing A is equal to 10.12.8, so first it will assign the value to the memory cell. And after that, it checks that what kind of value is this. So the value is float value. So now it gives the type of A as float. Means type of A will change with a change in value that you are assigning. So the data type of A, data type of the variable is dependent on the value that you are providing. And as you change the type of the value, the data type of the variable also changes. So it is known as dynamically typed language. It is automatically taking up the data type according to the value that you are providing. So we call this as dynamically typed language. And the example is Python. Let me show you the example of it. So I'm writing A is equal to 20. And let me print the type of A. So let me execute. And you can see that A is belonging to class integer. So because I am providing 20 as the value, so I'm getting a label for this A as int, that it is holding integer value. It is pointing to an integer value. Now, if I change the value to suppose 4.67 or 76, so when I execute this, the value, because I have changed the value from integer to decimal, now it is also showing that what is the data type of A? It is float. Why? Because A is pointing to a float value now. So the data type of A is changing with the change in value. That is why we called Python as dynamically typed language. Is the concept clear? If you assign a text value, then it is taking up the data type as a string. So we are not providing the data type when I am assigning the value. Python interpreter is automatically taking the data type according to the value which I am providing, which I am assigning. So this is known as type conversion. And what type of conversion it is? So the data type of the variable changes according to the value that you are providing. So if you are changing the value, you are assigning different value to the same variable, the data type of the variable also changes. And this is known as implicit type conversion because we are not doing anything. Data type of the variable or identifier, it is changing automatically according to the value we are providing. So it is known as implicit type conversion. Earlier, when I was passing A is equal to 20, so data type was int. When I was providing 4.76, data type was float. And now you can see because it is a string value, data type is now a string. So the change in the data type of the variable is because of the value that you are providing. You are providing different value, and according to that, data type is also changing. So converting from one type to another type, it is known as type conversion, and it is done automatically. That is why we are calling it as implicit type conversion. And because of this implicit type conversion, Python is a dynamic type language. Python is dynamically typed language. Any query regarding this? Any question? No, Mudassir. Every language is not behaving like this. We have some statically typed language as well. Is this implicit type conversion and dynamically typed language clear to everyone? Can I get the response in the chat box? Thank you, Subhash and Mudassir. Now let me talk about a statically typed language. So, and I'm taking the example of C, one of my favorite language. So C language is statically typed because before assigning a value to a variable, I need to attach the data type. So first declaration, and this statement is known as declaration. So first I need to declare a variable. So I need to tell which variable I will be using, A, and it is belonging to which data type. It has a data type int. So here we are going in the reverse order. So there is a memory location and A is pointing to this memory location, and I am first attaching a label to it that A can only accept which value, integer value. So if I'm providing 20, it will check that 20 is belonging to int. Yes, 20 can be stored in this. If I'm providing 10, it will check that 10 is belonging to integer class. Yes, so it can be stored in this. If I'm providing 40.5, so it will check that 40.5 is not int, but I can convert this 40.5 to integer by dropping this 0.5. So 40.5 will be stored as 40. So from float, the value is converted to int. If it is hello, so it will check that hello is not a string. Hello is a string. It is not an integer. So hello is not belonging to this data type. So it will discard. So what we are doing in a statically typed language, we are first declaring, we are first binding this data type with the variable, and after that we are assigning the value. So first declaration and second is the assignment. It is reverse of Python. In Python, first we are assigning the value, then interpreter is putting the label according to that value. But in statically typed language, we are first declaring the value by giving the data type along with variable, and after that we are assigning it. We are assigning value to this. So let me just show you. So I will not be teaching you C. So I will not be explaining the syntax for this. But I can show you that how this is working. So int A is equal to 10. And here we have the semicolon as a terminator. And let me print the value of A. So I will not be explaining the syntax. I just want to show you the difference between statically typed and dynamically typed language. So when I execute this, I will be getting 10 as the output. But let me remove this int. Let me just write a is equal to 10, just as I'm doing in Python. So it will give me an error. So I am getting the error that something is missing before a is equal to 10. Something is missing. Means I am using an undeclared variable. So it is giving me the error that you are using an undeclared variable a. So it is not accepting, it is actually not accepting the value without the label. So C compiler is not smart enough to determine the data type by the value. No, it asks for the label first and then it is assigning the value. So this label is the declaration. So we need to declare the variable first and then we assign the value. So this is known as a statically typed language. So first I need to statically bind this data type with the variable and then I have to use that variable. Mudassar, is this clear to you now that all the languages are not having the same similar behavior as Python is? Some languages are behaving differently. Any problem to anyone in this? So here, first declaration and then assignment. Amrita, Komal, Subhash, Prajwal, Sai Prasad, Smita, Vijay, Krishna, Bhargav. So that is with the data type. And we have how many fundamental data types? So fundamental means we have different data types in Python, which are already built in. And I told you these are the labels. So you have numeric data types, and in the numeric data types, we have int and float. You have string data type. Then you have Boolean data type, which is having two Boolean literal, true and false. And remember, Python is case sensitive. True is capital T and F has capital F. So numeric data types, int and float. A string. Boolean has two literals, true and false. In sequence type, we have list, tuple, dictionary, and sets. This I'll be taking up separately as a composite data type. So we have sets as well. So I have discussed int, float, string, and Boolean. So sequence data types and sets I'll be taking up later on. We have another data type which is known as complex. So to represent complex numbers in Python, we have a complex data type. So how to use that complex data type? So let me use different variable. A is having hello and I want to print the type of A. Then B is having value 10 and I want to print type of B. Then C is having value 20.9 and I want to print type of C. And D is having the value true and I want to print type of D. And E is having value 4 plus 7J. and I want to print type of E. So A is hello, A is belonging to class integer, B is 10 means A is hello, A is belonging to class string, B is 10, B is belonging to class integer, C is 20.9, it is belonging to class float, D is true, means belonging to class boolean, and you have 4 plus 7j. So what is this 4 plus 7j? So in mathematics also you have done complex numbers. So you have complex algebra, complex numbers, complex arithmetic. So complex number has two parts. One is the real part which is existing. Another one is the imaginary part. So 4 is the real part. And here the part which is having j as the coefficient, we have this 7 as the imaginary part. Now why the numbers are imaginary? So if I need to take the square of 2, can anyone tell me what is the value? Bhargav, can I have the answer from you? 2 square is? Yes, Mohammed. So 2 square is 4. And if I want to go from 4 to 2, I need to take the square root. So what is the square root of 4? What is the square root of 4? I'm getting the answer from Mudassir 2. Komal is saying 2. So the answer of under root 4 is plus minus 2. Because if I take the square of negative number, then also I will be getting positive. Because of this even power, negative number is belonging to positive. So when you take the square of any number, so square of any number is always positive. And you are taking the square root of the square number. So only positive numbers can be there in the under root. So only positive numbers are existing in the under root. So if you try to take the square root of a negative number, because you are taking the square root of the square, and a square cannot be negative. So if you are trying to take the square root of the negative number, then it is not existing. It is not possible. So it is not existing. So it becomes the imaginary number. And here we are using this representation in Python so that we can work on complex numbers as well. Is this clear? So let me execute this. And you can see I am getting all answer. So I'm just typing the result and the code in the chat box so that you can view it. You can see I'm getting a string for hello, integer for 10, then 20.9 is float, true is bool, and 4 plus 7j is complex. Any query, any problem to anyone, anything you want to ask? Shall I move ahead? String data type. So a string data type, how you are retrieving the value in a string and how this string data type is stored. So it is stored as an array. So here, suppose I am storing, so I have a variable with the name my string, and I am storing welcome in this variable. So how this welcome will be stored in this computer memory? So you will have W E L C O M E. And how to retrieve each character or a substring from this? We are using indices for this. So we can retrieve a particular character or a substring from this with the help of index. Index means position. So when I am starting the indexing from left hand side, I am giving positive index values, and it starts with 0. So 0 means the first position, 1 means second character, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here, suppose if I need to print only O, so I will be using my string because the pointer to this is my string. The variable or the identifier to this is my string. So my string, and I want to print only O. O is at which position? O is at the fourth position. So how to give position within the square bracket? So if I want to print O, I have to use this. That O is a part of which? O is a part of a string which is stored in this variable, my string. And how to print O, a character? So O is at which place? O is at fourth position. So I am giving the position, I am giving the index within the square bracket. If I need to print E, then print. So E is pointed by the variable my string, and E is at which place? E is at sixth place. So the position or the index I have to give within the square bracket. Now one query. I want to print only the substring. So I want to print COME from this welcome. So how to print this? I'm printing only a single character by taking a single position, but I want to print from third position to sixth position character or till the last. Yes, Komal, I will be using slicing operator. So slicing, I will be slicing my string. So how to print? So print is the function, and I want to print substring, and this string is identified. This string is having the identifier as my string. Now I want to print from the third position till sixth. And the slicing operator is the colon, not comma. Slicing operator is the colon, not comma. So from, and sixth will not be included, right? It will print only COM. So whenever first value is inclusive, so I'm giving a range of the indices. So the first value is inclusive. So it will start with third position. So it will print C, then move to the next index, O, then move to the next index, M, but it will not print the character at the sixth position. So this is exclusive. So the character at sixth position will not be printed. It will print only COM. So let us try this. Are you all getting this thing? that how to print a character in a string and how to print a substring using the slicing operator. So what I'm doing here with the colon, I am actually slicing my string. Is the theory concept clear? Okay, let us implement this. So my string, it is welcome. And let me print my string and the character at the fourth position. So I will be getting O as the output. You can see I am getting O as the out. If I want to print last character E, so last character is at the sixth position, sixth index. Because there are 7 characters starting with 0, last character will be 6 index. So let me print, and you can see that at the 4th index I am getting O, and at the 6th index I am getting E. So individual character I can print with the help of indices. And when you are starting from the left hand side, the indices starts with 0 till the last. And if you want to print a particular character, then the variable name followed by index within the square bracket. Let me try this one, 3:6. So I want to print my string 3:6. So let us see what is the output of this 14th statement. I will be getting an error because I have used the wrong variable name. So you can see that the last print is giving me COM. So I'm not getting come, I'm getting COM only. So this means that the first index is inclusive and the last index is exclusive. So it will print from third character, third position to fifth position. Sixth position will not be included. Sixth position will not be included. If I want to print come, that from the third character till the last. So when I need to print this come from the third character till the last, so what we do, we just give the starting character, the starting index, that from the third character index I want to start, colon, and we don't give any value. This means when we don't give any value, it is from third index till the last. It will print the entire string from third index. So from third index, it will print till the last index. So what we do, we give the initial index, but after colon, I'm not giving any index value. Means I need to print till the last. So here you can see print my string 3 colon, and I'm not giving any last value. Terminating value of the range I'm not giving. So it is by default taking the last index, and it is including that last index. So you can see I'm getting come now. So when you don't give any value to the slicing operator, second value, so it will take till the last. So from third character, from the third index till the last index. If you give 3,3:7, so are you having 7 index here? 0 to 6 index are here. Are you having 7 indices? So let us try. So print my string 3:7. So what output you are expecting? So can I have the expected output of this 19th statement? So I am getting come. So you can take this. But it is not a good option because 7th is not the index in this string. So it is not a good option. Use 3 colon and leave it. Now you want to print the string till the last from the starting till the 4th index. You want to print this. So suppose I want to print this. So from starting till the 4th index. So I know starting index is 0. So what I can do, I can use yes. So starting index is 0. So print my string, starting index is 0. And I want to print till the 4th index. So I have to take an extra index, 0:5. So when you execute this, so you are getting welcome. But if you don't remember that what is the starting index, whether it is 1 or 0, so what you do, don't give the starting index. If you want to print the string from the first character, don't give the starting index, give the last index. That you want to print till 4th index, so you have to give one extra. So that is why 5 index is not included. It is leaving the last index. So when you don't give anything before colon, it will start taking the string from the very first character, from the 0th index. So you can see I am getting Velcro in both the cases. So when you want to print the string till the end, so after colon, don't give any value. If you want to print the string from the starting, then don't give any value before colon. It will automatically take the starting value. One query for all of you. What this value will be printing? What is the output of this? I'm not giving any starting index. I'm not giving the last index. Yes, Samita? It is showing welcome. Yes, Komal. Yes, Krishna. Full string. Because I'm not providing any starting index. So it is taking the very first character. So W, E, L, C, O, and till where? Because when we don't give the second value after colon, so here this from the starting character and till the end. So it prints the full string. So I will get welcome as the answer. So I'm getting welcome as the answer. Any query to anyone? So what I did today, what I have covered today. So let us just revise. So I have covered string data type and covered only positive index. We have negative indexes as well. That I'll be taking up tomorrow. Then difference between statically typed and dynamically typed language. What is the importance or why we are using these data types? For the same binary representation in memory, what to read, it is determined by the data type. And which operations we have to perform on the value, it is also determined by data type. And I have talked about operator overloading. That plus is performing addition with numeric value. And it is performing concatenation with the string value. So this is known as operator overload. So that's it for the day. If you have any query, anything, then please let me know. And my humble request to share feedback for today's session in the chat box. So can you all please share the today's feedback for the today's session in the chat box? Thank you, Amrita. Thank you, Smita. Thank you, Komal, Prajwal, Subhash, Sai Prasad. Good night then. See you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.